Hey, what's up? My name's Kurt, and today we're going to be taking a look at some badass classic rock riffs that I have used all throughout my guitar journey. So without further ado, let's begin. For the purpose of this lesson, I'm just going to stick to the key of E, or key of C rather. And the first riff is a kind of like a blues shuffle, like a rock and roll shuffle type of riff. And basically all you want to do is, if you already know your power chords, which is just the root and the fifth, if you know how to play a power chord, all you want to do is just reach up to the major six, and you can get that kind of sound. So, and this riff in its most basic form goes something like this. And that's something that you can just use anywhere on the fretboard. You can, if you want to play it in D, A, you can just use it anywhere. I mainly stick with the lower strings, but whatever you want, wherever you want to play it, you can even play it up higher, like on the middle strings. But it's essentially, you're just taking your power chord and then just adding that major six, and then just playing having a rhythm to it. So another thing that you can do is you can add other intervals from the major scale, or into that riff. So for instance, you can add like the minor seventh, so you can go up to the minor seventh, and it's just another thing that you can add on to that riff to make it cooler. Another thing you can do is minor thirds, major thirds, even the major second, those all will sound good as like little riffs to add to that, to the main riff. So if you're like, you can kind of just use, and that's just the first one is just sliding down, starting at the minor third, going down to the major second, and then down to the root note. And then the other one, you can just start at the minor third again, but go up to the major third. And that's a very common thing you hear a lot in rock and roll, blues rock, classic rock, you name it. So it's a cool thing to do. Another thing you can do is you can use the root note, lay it on top of that power chord, and just throw that in too every once in a while, and you can get something that sounds like this. And it's another thing that you can do to kind of spice up that riff. And this riff can be played anywhere you like. You can do it, like I said, it's a movable shape. You can use it in a 1/4/5, and that's what it's typically used in. So like, say, you know, like a rock and roll song like Johnny Be Good, you know, uses this riff, and so you sound like this in the key of A. And so on and so forth. So that's just another application of this riff. And there's plenty more, but I'm not going to really go into that deep because I want to get on to the next riff, which is another really cool riff, and it's like a Rolling Stones type thing. I don't know what it's really called, but like really, I think what it is just like a slash chord, but you hear it a lot in classic rock, and it just sounds really cool. So in the key of C, it's just as simple as that. So you're just going. That's all it is, but it's probably one of the most popular riffs you would hear in classic rock and even rock in today's world. So it's a really useful lick to know, and you hear it a lot in the key of A because it's easier to play in A because you don't have to reach all the way down on the low E string to get the root note, because you can just play an open A string, have your bar, your A chord, and then you're playing this triad, which is essentially just a D chord, which is a 4 chord. So if you want to play it in C, you're playing the F triad because that's the 4th interval of the C major scale. So like, you know, you can just move, like I said, this is another shape that you can move anywhere you want, and you know, you hear it in like songs like you know, Kiss, Lick It Up, like or, you know, Nothing But a Good Time by Poison. And then even Free, All Right Now. So it's used a lot in classic rock, and just a very cool, useful lick to know, or riff rather, to know. So that's that riff, and moving on to number 3 on the riff list that I have is this little thing. And this is something you hear all the time in blues, you hear it in rock, and all it is it's pretty simple. You're just it's just taking advantage of the minor third and the major third. And a lot of times what you do is you hear it to be hammering on from the minor third to the major third, so it gives it that characteristic sound that you hear in classic rock. So you hear that all the time, and it sounds really good. You hear it in classic rock, you hear it in blues, you hear it in country, you hear it in funk, and it's just all the same thing, but it's just played differently. But it's really the minor third, major third thing is all they're doing. It's just a hammer on. So basically in the key of C, you want to start off playing a C minor chord, and I'd play it with my thumb wrapped around the E string, and I bar the middle, you know, strings on the 8th fret. This is all on the 8th fret. The middle D, G, and B, and so I get a C minor chord that way, and then I'm just hammering on just on the G string to the 9th fret, that which is the major third, to get that sound. And what you want to do too is you also want to throw in the 4 chord, and which is just in this case in C, you know, once again is just an F. And I like I did with that Rolling Stones chord. I'm on the 4 chord, except for I'm playing it up here with this triad, and that's all the way up at the 10th fret, the middle D, B, the D, G, and B strings. I'm holding down on the root note to get that kind of, you know, sound. So you can just go back and forth between those things. And sometimes you like, in a bluesy way, you kind of want to hammer on that really fast sometimes. And you know, there's other applications too. You can kind of play it more in a funky way, which could kind of sound like something like this. Or and there's many other things that you can kind of do with that. But at the end of the day, it's really just the same. It's all just right there. It's just manipulating the minor and major thirds, just hammering on, and you know, just having fun with it. Yeah, so that's basically all I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Once again, my name's Kurt. You can check me out on my YouTube channel, which is Blues Rockman 90, which I'll post this to that channel as well. My Instagram, Kurt McGinnis, and I'll also post this on Facebook as well. So you can check me out on any of those social media platforms for more material and jams and lessons and whatnot. So I'll see you next time.